Let's today talk about autoimmune conditions. When we talk about autoimmune conditions, we talk about things like multiple sclerosis, which is your MS, a Hashimoto's thyroid, a rheumatoid arthritis, a systemic lupus, vitiligo, eczemas, and other conditions. What we need to understand, because there's very limited information, people think you have an autoimmune condition, you're put on a steroid or an immunosuppressant because your immune system is erratic. Your immune system is attacking you. It's either attacking your thyroid gland, organs in your body, your skin, your joints, your muscle, and that's why you're rightfully put on a steroid or an immunosuppressant so that the attack stops. Well, you know, and the medical world knows that you can't be on an immunosuppressant or a steroid for very long periods of time because they come with their own side effects. How do you manage this with lifestyle? That's exactly what we're going to see. We've been treating autoimmune for about 13 years. A lot of cases, fantastic success, some not, maybe not so good. Everyone's different. I'm going to throw at you today commonalities that we see in people with autoimmune conditions, from kids right up to senior citizens. A lot of people like to blame their genes, but let me tell you something. It could be 2 to 3%, the balance. We're just being victims of our genes. Yes, your parents or your grandparents may have carried a particular gene, but today we know with epigenetics that your gene doesn't have to express itself if you have the right environment within you and outside of you. This is epigenetics. We know that if your lifestyle is good, even the worst gene that you carry does not have to express itself. The point is, when we're told things are hereditary or things are, because our parents had it, then we start to believe there's nothing that can be done, and we do not do the things or make the changes that we should be doing to put the autoimmune condition into remission. Now, here are some of the commonalities that we've seen. Number one is chronic stress, and it's common sense. Our immune systems are supposed to fight pathogens and germs and identify the enemy, identify who they need to attack. But when your immune system is erratic, confused, because you're stressed out, you're sleep deprived, how do you think the immune system works? Think of this as an Army, Navy, and an Air Force. That's your immune system. Each of them have their jobs for different enemies. It's the same thing as your immune system. Now imagine if the entire Army, Navy, and the Air Force was disoriented. Okay, what would happen? Exactly what's happening in your body when you have an autoimmune condition. The first thing is chronic stress. I've seen patients go into remission. Everything's good, and then they get the attack again. And the first thing I ask them is, what happened? And they went through some period of prolonged chronic stress. I'm not talking about day-to-day stress. We can handle that. I'm talking about chronic stress. When we make problems in our mind, we're constantly anxious, or rightfully, you're going through some trauma in your life. There's been an incident, it's very difficult, too many things happening, which is why we need to look after our stress levels. If there's stress, what are we doing about it? How are we creating relaxation? If we need therapy, are we taking therapy to handle difficult situations, difficult traumas in our life? All of that helps us with the tools to better manage our stress. But you need to know that chronic stress plays one of the most major roles, at least about 99% in all the patients that we see. Now, because you have chronic stress, what's the second problem you have that is linked to an autoimmune condition? Your gut. Most people have gut problems with autoimmune conditions. Taking it a step forward, a leaky gut. What is a leaky gut? Your mucosal linings are destroyed, eaten by your own microbes because you don't eat the right foods. You're eating inflammatory foods, or maybe eating foods that don't suit you. Like if you're celiac, but you're still eating wheat. If you're dairy intolerant, lactose or lactase, but you're still having it. Your system constantly rejects this. There's inflammation in your gut. Your mucosal linings are thinning. And certain bacteria and molecules that are not supposed to get into your blood because of your weakened gut. That's called a leaky gut. Now these bacteria and these molecules get into your blood and your body starts to attack them because they're not supposed to be there. A lot of this is molecular mimicry, mimicking a muscle, a joint, a thyroid gland, your skin, and that's why it attacks you that way. And then of course you have vitiligo, which will directly attack your skin, or eczema, vice versa. Now you have chronic stress and you have a gut issue, which means you have a hormonal problem, because your gut also regulates your hormones. So you see the vicious cycle that it builds within you. And then you start to have all of these attacks over and over again. Now your skin changes. Now you get more issues Now you're put on into an antibiotic, which further destroys your gut because you don't take the antibiotic the right way. So you see, it's a vicious cycle. But people with autoimmune need to know that you can get better. You can get into remission when you find out the root cause of the problem. I've seen autoimmune patients where they've had to change just one thing. Find out that food that they're intolerant to. You remove that food, it all disappears. They eat that food, it comes back. For some of them, it's stress. For some of them, it's repairing your leaky gut. A lot of stuff can happen in your gut. You can have a candida, you can have parasites, you can have dysbiosis, you can have SIBO. There are so many things, and that's why you can't just take a probiotic and expect every problem to get better. Sleep is a huge one. All the healing in your gut, your immune system relaxes. Everything heals when you're sleeping, and that's why a lot of people have their attacks, especially when they're sleep deprived. Now coming to emotions play a huge role. Like if I have to look at my patients who have MS, my patients who have rheumatoid arthritis, they carry emotions like anger. They also have low anger scores. What are low anger scores? That means they want to express anger, but they also want to be people pleasers. I don't say this in a disrespectful way. Okay, they want to be people pleasers. They never want to hurt people because they don't want people to change how they think of them. They're always going out of their way to give, serve. But inside there is pain, there's anger, there's bitterness, there's, then they feel when they're not given back, they feel disappointed and all of that stuff. There are emotions because all this inside of you, what is it doing? It's impacting your immune system. It's impacting your physiology. It's impacting the harmony amongst trillions of cells in the human body. So you see all of these things happening all the time. Vitiligo and eczema, there's fear. We see this in children. When children feel that their space is threatened, either parents fighting, abusive relationships, or being bullied in school, or there's fear, there's anxiety, and then we try to get into their lives, how much a bedwetting, come down, figure it out. Because everything is not a pill and everything is not a superfood. You have to look at a problem from the scope of mind as well. So you can see fear in vitiligo, you can see fear, you can see a lot of fear in eczemas and all of these things, anxiety in eczemas and stuff. Rheumatoid arthritis will hold a lot of pent-up anger, bitterness towards the past, the want to express but no. Hashimoto's thyroid will also hold a lot of suppressed and repressed emotions. People want to say something but they can't. They either feel controlled, they're too fearful, they're not confident. So yeah, there's a lot to look at beyond your steroid. And if you need to be on a steroid, don't be scared of it, but you have to be managing the side effect of your steroid or your immunosuppressant. A steroid, I've done a whole video on this already. You can check it out on YouTube. If you're on a steroid, take it without fear, but make sure you're managing the side effect by replenishing the vitamins and minerals that it is depleting. You do not have to put on weight when you're on a steroid if you are managing the side effects of it. So it really comes down, the way I want you to look at disease or disorders today. I don't like to call autoimmune a disease because guess what? It can go into remission when you find the root cause. So I like to call it more of a disorder or an imbalance. Now, the way I want you to look at diseases or imbalances, number one, what has disturbed the harmony within your body? What has disturbed the harmony within your body? And that's where you start your diagnosis. You have your diagnosis from your doctor, fantastic. Now what about the diagnosis for yourself? What has affected the harmony within your body? Is it your sleep? Is it your thoughts and emotions? Is it your food? Is it your exercise? You have a sedentary lifestyle, you have a poor immune system. It can work two ways, against you or for you. So people with autoimmune conditions need to be physically active. You don't need to overtrain, but you need to be physically active with consistency. Challenging muscle, doing your cardio, mobility, flexibility, and everything else. And then of course you look at your vitamins and minerals. You need to look at your omegas, your zincs, from food, from supplements if you need it under supervision. It doesn't mean more supplements is going to take away your autoimmune condition. So while the steroid is working or not working or whatever it is, these are the changes that you can start to look at. You have to add lifestyle to your condition because I can promise you one thing, your steroid alone will never work. It will obviously, let's see what happens. Let's say my immune system is attacking me right now, a steroid is like magic. Because why? My immune system is erratic, a steroid is an immunosuppressant. It suppresses my immune system so my symptoms disappear. After a while, your doctor has to taper you off it. What's going to happen if you haven't made lifestyle changes? Your immune system comes up and it attacks you again and again. I want you to look at health and disease from an angle of lifestyle And whenever you're sick, whenever, of course, you have a broken leg, all of that stuff, it's pretty much common sense. But when something's going wrong, you're having gut issues, your skin, hair, what is disturbing the harmony within you? That'll give you a lot of answers about the lifestyle changes you need to make. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.